All right. Going into our third and final game of the round robin stage of the tournament. Let's first take a look at Legio Lupus Lepidoptera. First off, we have the Lupus Astartes, a Gatling Artemis Pyramidion powered by Wolf 1 with the left side, Banshee and Flare Gun. Their ally, the big fluffy Moth, Magnate, powered by Mirwin. We have a left side Minotaur Hades Banshee with a right side Flamethrower, Mine Launcher, Heavy Carronade. Their opponents, Skyborne Rangers. We have the Reborn, powered by Sunstrom. It is a Mercury Dual Artemis Mobule with Gatling and Flare Gun on the outer wings. And their ally, the Tickle Tuesday, powered by Solidus Bucket, Watcha, Gatling on the left side, Banshee, Heavy Carronade on the right. And already Reborn is utilizing his long-range guns to harass the red Magnate, forcing them to reposition behind the cover. Well, at the same time, the Tickle Tuesday looks like was going for some kind of a flank, deciding, nah, this isn't going to work out, and has chosen to disengage himself. Ooh, good, the Artemis shots. Artemis shots from the Pyramidion taking out the Tickle Tuesday's engines, making it a little bit difficult for them to engineer their escape. They are taking armor damage from the Lupus Astartes Gatling gun, moonshining away. Only one engine to work on. The Gatling still taking down their armor, but very little permanent damage done to the Blue Shrike. And I'm just very quickly going to look and see what ammo type. Looks like heavy ammo being utilized on that Gatling gun for Lupus Astartes. Please send pronunciation corrections to the Twitch chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep saying Lupus Astartes, because that one sounds fancier than the other way. Reborn taking this opportunity to move in. They've been having a little bit of difficulty with the follow-up damage because there's this big pipe in the way on red side of the map. So whenever the big fluffy Moth loses their armor to the Mercury, they just duck behind this big pipe, and none of the Artemis shots they're all blocked by the balloon. So at some point, either Tickle Tuesday, which is being kept at bay by Lupus, the Lupus Astartes, the Pyramidion, Tickle Tuesday is going to have to make something happen themselves, or the Reborn will have to find a new position, because this one just really is not working for them. There's just too much cover on red side of the map. Now, I've yet to see a really impressive Shrike play. To be totally honest, the ship seems like it has, it's kind of difficult to crew, and it has a lot of weaknesses. There's high upside because it is a fast ship that can use it has split heavy weapon slots, one on each side, so that's, potentially very powerful, but it doesn't turn well, and it's very vulnerable to Artemis and Watcha Disable. Like, one Artemis just wreaks havoc onto a Shrike. And there's the Gatling, again taking down the armor. One Artemis shot going into the hull, moonshining backwards, balloon at half health, burning down. Tickle Tuesday safe for now, but each of these charges is costing them a little bit of health, so they're not going to be able to keep it up forever. Reborn's going to have to do something. They're going to have to do some damage if they're okay. There's Merc shot taking in the armor. I don't think any of these Artemis shots are going to get through. Tickle Tuesday has moved to the other side of the ribs, electing now to try to target the Magnate. See if we can get some heavy carronade shots. One heavy carronade shot combined with the Banshees is able to take down the big Fluffy Moth's balloon, so Fluffy Moth not going to be able to exert any damage onto the Reborn. But I still think the Reborn's not going to be able to follow up just because there's so many pieces of terrain in the way. With the Red Pyramidion maintaining this Overwatch position, both the Gatling and the Artemis on the Lupus Astartes are very good at shooting downwards, so as long as they stay high, they can shoot at pretty much whichever target they want, as long as they stay at a high altitude. Whereas Tickle Tuesday, watch it coming out, taking out the left side guns of the big fluffy moth. But no way to do any real damage. We also saw for a moment there the Astartes lost its armor to the Reborn. That is one thing that Legio, Lupus, Lepidoptera needs to be a little bit careful of, is the Reborn will totally own the Pyramidion in a long-range fight. So Red Pyr needs to be a little bit careful. And it looks like this is... the Skyborne Rangers have realized that as well, with Reborn now trying to focus the Pyramidion instead of the Magnate, doing a lot of damage. Oh, Lupus Astartes already down to 5% permahull. Next armor break will surely be death for them. And Reborn has taken the opportunity to, with the Pyramidion moving behind cover to rebuild, Reborn taking that opportunity to move forward. So Red Team's going to have a more difficult time utilizing the terrain to block these incoming sniper shots. And they're definitely going to want to keep that Minotaur disabled as well. Oh, good Minotaur shot, knocking him around, knocking their guns out of arc. Forcing the Reborn to disengage, doing more damage to the armor. Artemis, Reborn down to 40% permahull. Able to rebuild the armor, kerosining away. In the meantime, Tickle Tuesday going for the Pyramidion. Knows the Pyramidion is heavily damaged from the last fight. Gatling coming out. Are they going to get an armor strip here before the Fluffy Moth is able to dissuade the Tickle Tuesday from killing their ally? Tickle Tuesday loses their armor, forced away, moonshining backwards. No kill on the Pyramidion just yet. Armor is healthy. They're going for the Mobula. They're going for a Ram. Are they going to be able to snap mash them against the edge of this terrain? No. The Lupus Astartes, too low, too little health. They lost their armor, and down they go, meaning that this is the green light for Skyborne Rangers to run down on this Magnate, to double down on their score advantage. And blue team going to be closing the vise. Close spawn from the Pyramidion. It's a slow turner though. It's facing the wrong way. So I don't think they're going to be able to get here before the Shrike and the Reborn are able to finish off the big Fluffy Moth. Let's see. Watch it coming out, hitting bare hole, doing quite a bit of damage. Big Fluffy Moth able to rebuild their armor just in time. Lost 2 of their 3 engines. So very limited mode maneuverability as the Lupus Astartes runs in to push the Shrike away. Both the Shrike and the Reborn are low health as well, so if we can get some good armor stripping from the Gatling gun, the Artemis might be able to finish them off at range. And there's the Artemis shot. Second Artemis shot misses. Armor is rebuilt. Tickle Tuesday, very low health. Minotaur onto the Reborn. 80 shots, going a little wide. But the Minotaur proving to be pretty annoying. That's one of those ships that you do not want to leave undisabled. Like people, in general. Oh, Reborn dying to the Gatling gun. Minotaur generally considered a pretty weak weapon, so it's easy to underestimate it. But if you do not disable it with the Artemis, it can be extremely disruptive to those wide ships, those slow turning ships like the Mobula, the Galleon. Especially when you're relying on very accurate long-range fire to do the majority of your damage, that Minotaur could just be such a pain in, such a thorn in your side, as it were. So Red Team able to tie up the score. Tickle Tuesday will do a health check here. Tickle Tuesday, very little armor, still. You might want to put out that fire, hombre. Or perhaps they're just trying to keep warm. Big Fluffy Moth as well, down to about 30% health. So both these ships going to need to be careful with the state of their armor. But I think in general this is a bit. Shrike's going to be a bigger liability because it relies on being able to charge and get the close range. Whereas the Magnate, with its split side, can, when it gets to low health, it can kind of sit back and just rely on the long range guns. And you see that happening now. Although Fluffy Moth, I think we're back to where we were at the start. With Fluffy Moth, as soon as their armor gets low, they duck behind the pipe, so that the Artemis is not able to finish off. And we get one Artemis hitting bare hole, so a little bit of damage to the Magnate, but not enough to be able to kill them. Reborn focusing on the Lupus Astartes. We're about at the halfway point for the timer. Only 2 points on the score. So this match could potentially go to time. At which point, blue team does have the kill advantage because they were the first to kill that red Pyramidion at the start. Waiting for that Bosch ram attempt. We'll watch some sick Merc shots here. Also of note that Sunstrom does have a fire extinguisher, the pilot of this ship. So theoretically, he could extinguish this front gun. If you look to where the pilot is, he's actually standing right behind the gun. So at some point, Sunstorm could theoretically use his extinguisher to extinguish this Mercury. But I think the Mercury gunner's pipe wrench cooldown is interfering with the extinguisher. A little unfortunate. Interesting now. Well, I was going to say interesting now that red team has decided to abandon. I think this is probably timer pressure because we are 12 minutes into the match, only 8 left, and blue team does have the kill advantage. So Legio, Lupus, Lepidoptera does know they have to have when the game ends, they have to have a score advantage. If the game is a tie, they will lose. They lose on account of the rules. So they've been pressured to play more aggressively. They left their defensive cover, ran into the center of the ribs, whereas the Magnate then gets picked off by the Reborn. And probably the Lupus Astartes as well. Not going to be escaping from this one. Yeah, even though Tickle Tuesday has low health, because they have the score advantage and the first kill advantage, the onus is on red team to make the aggressive play. So they can kind of just sit back very safely and force Legio Lupus to come to them. So things looking very good for the Skyborne Rangers to win this match. I don't know what Tickle Tuesday is. Okay. Tickle Tuesday electing to destroy their ship as to not be a liability in the next match. They do give a point to the enemy team, but because Skyborne Rangers won that last fight and they now have a 2-point advantage, they feel comfortable giving up that strike, giving up 1 point, so that they don't go into the next fight with a ship that has 5% permahull. Because losing a fight, it would be much more would be much more detrimental for blue team than just losing, you know, that already heavily damaged ship. Wow, and we see an extremely distant spawn from red team. They feel they're pretty scared of the Skyborne Rangers right now. Now the problem with this is that there are only 6 minutes left on the clock. So the farther they spawn away, the longer it's going to take for the engagement to start. Which means less time for them to win this fight. And it's all going to come down to this fight. Here comes the Tickle Tuesday. Tickle Tuesday was on a scouting mission, and he's like, hell no. Moonshining back away. He found the 2 red ships. Reborn is in position to capitalize with the long-range guns. Already, Lupus Astartes' armor getting picked away by the Mercury field gun. Wonder if any of these Minotaur shots are hitting. Hades coming out. Blue Mobula doing a good job dodging the incoming Hades. Tickle Tuesday moonshining forward. Looks like it's going to be going for the Magnate with the Hwacha Gatling. Hwacha coming out with some test shots. A lot of that Hwacha missing. Magnate rising upwards. Pyramidion now moving in onto the Tickle Tuesday. No, he's going for the Reborn. Both red ships gunning down onto the Blue Mobula. Blue Mobula has no damage on it, but if Lupus Astartes is able to close the distance and get a ram, impact it with the front of its ship, they might be able to kill the Mobula before the Shrike is able to assist. Shrike desperately running in behind the red team. Here comes the Pyramidion. He's running forward. He only has Kerosene. He doesn't have Moonshine. Reborn loses his armor. Is the armor going to be rebuilt before the Pyramidion hits them? No, he's dodging down. Shoot vent. Stamina. Reborn able to dodge the Pyramidion, and now the Pyramidion has to turn back around to re-engage on the Reborn. Reborn still has taken no damage in this fight. Tickle Tuesday now moving in. Hwacha onto Lupus Astartes, taking down the I'm not sure he took down any of the front guns of the Pyramidion with that Hwacha, and now has to reposition. Reborn using the Gatling and the dual Artemis on the Big Fluffy Moth. Big Fluffy Moth using hydrogen to try to rise above the Artemis gun arcs. Mines coming out from the Big Fluffy Moth, I believe. Yeah, Magnate shooting out those mines. I guess to try to remove areas that the Shrike can move in. Gatling coming out, forcing the Tickle Tuesday away. Flamethrower as well. That Flamethrower going to be extremely disruptive for this very squishy ship that has a lot of components on it. And now Reborn has risen back up to refocus the Astartes at long range, medium range, let's say. But Fluffy Moth's balloon has gone down to the Banshee, and it doesn't have any armor. It's taking damage from the ground. Still no balloon. The Banshee proving very disruptive to the Big Fluffy Moth, and then they go down. Just the Banshee able to finish off the Magnate. People underestimate how much damage the Banshee can do to a balloon, especially a downed balloon. It can be super annoying. Here comes the Ram. Armor is up on the Reborn. This is the edge of the map. They have nowhere left to go. Lupus Astartes able to get a Ram kill onto the Reborn at the edge of the map. The map pushing them back into the Pyramidion for the fast kill. And now, Tickle Tuesday, they are on Blue's side of the map. So, Flying Moth, Big Fluffy Moth, going to take some time to get back into this fight. Lupus Astartes is going to be dual teamed here pretty quickly when the Mobula respawns back in. And it looks like they're not going to be able to kill this this Shrike. There's the Reborn. They're facing towards the Magnate. Let's see if they're going to turn around or focus the Big Fluffy Moth. Looks like they're turning for the Pyramidion. Pyramidion's balloon is low from the Tickle Tuesday's Banshee Heavy Carronade. And Reborn, once Reborn engages their firepower, this might be it for the Pyramidion. Not gonna live very long. There's the armor break. Oh, armor just mallet hit, got in, and they're just barely able to dodge long enough that the armor on the Pyramidion does not go down. Now, Big Fluffy Moth is coming in behind the Reborn, but they aren't doing enough damage to stop them from killing their ally, the Pyramidion. There's the armor break. Artemis coming out. The Minotaur knocks them off arc, so they're unable to follow up with the Artemis, so the Pyramidion is still alive. Big Fluffy Moth is totally disabled, so if something's going to happen, it has to be the Pyramidion, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Artemis finally finishing off the Pyra. And Skyborne Rangers are going to take this match, making them the only team in today's tournament with a 2-0 record. 5-3 in this game at the 19-minute mark. And I believe they're going to go on to face the Fancy Cloud Dancers in today's finals.